Hey, welcome back to another Greatness of the Gen Z Generation podcast. I'm Joel Ortiz.
And I'm Gerardo. We have a special guest today. We have Gerardo with Supreme Inspections. This man is taking the industry by storm. And he's only
I'm 26.
26 years old.
26, yeah.
26 years old, and he's doing great things. He's an inspiration for me personally. And yeah, man. Thank you so much for being here.
No, I appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir. So let's get started with how you got to where you are now. Like kind of like your background. If we can kind of dive into that.
I grew up here in OKC. Both of my families are from Mexico.
Uh-huh.
My dad's from deep South Mexico, Michoacan, and my mom's from Laredo.
Mm-hmm.
Grew up here, Southside OKC for the most part, and good family, good roots, all that type of stuff. Business-minded family for sure. My dad had his own produce shop for a while here in OKC. When everything crashed, everything kind of went downhill for a while. But definitely showed me the hardships of having a business and all that type of stuff growing up. So, yeah.
What school system were you in?
I got lucky, man. My parents busted their butt to go out and make some money here and there, and I did as well. So I could go to private schools here in OKC. I went to Sacred Heart and Mount St. Mary's High School.
I heard of that.
Yeah.
I heard of that.
But worked a lot to do it. But man, honestly, it's helped me out a lot in the long run. All the education and stuff like that. For sure. Yeah.
What was your favorite class, and what would you say formed you to be what you are now? Would you have a class for that?
Honestly, no. For me, probably what helped me out a lot with I think for me personally, success-wise, you need a lot of drive. You actually you need to have the clarity that you want to get there, but you need to have that motivation and everyday want to do things. And I got that a lot from sports, like football and stuff growing up. Because you have to go to all the practices and all that. Parents force you to go and everything. So I got a lot of that dedication and whatnot from doing that. So I played football from I think first grade up to high school to like sophomore year, but I got hurt after that, so I wasn't able to play. So,
You're pretty disciplined. You're in there a while. You're like a veteran by now.
Yeah. I was solid, man. I love playing football, but got hurt for a reason. You know how to take different routes.
Yeah, man. I mean, what do you feel like those? Because I know that you mentioned that the schooling was very important for you. What do you think what did you take out from it?
Man, I was around a lot of people that were, clean cut and stuff like that. So, you surround yourself with people that you want to be like, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, I think I got a lot of like discipline from those type of people as well, like the teachers and stuff like that. I wasn't really a big troublemaker or anything like that. I had my fun and stuff like that. But I was always disciplined with my classes and stuff because I knew what my parents were doing to take me there and all that. So the education and stuff, they put you through it too for the most part. But I've always been easy with reading books and learning and stuff like that though. So education's been kind of easy for me for the most part. Yeah.
So I know that you have a very strong entrepreneur mindset. Right, because I know that you were a personal trainer for a bit. You had different businesses.
Yeah.
Right, so first of all, let me dive in a little bit on the personal trainer part. So, like, what's some takeaways and kind of things that you learned that you've seen a lot of people make mistakes with?
Business wise?
Just on the personal training part, exercise.
Like exercising?
Yeah.
Oh man,
there's a lot.
You can talk for hours with the mistakes that people make when working out and training and stuff like that. But exercise wise, I don't know, probably just recovering and some people push themselves too hard.
Yeah, that's me.
Recover and all that stuff.
That's me right there, man.
So that makes a big difference, but it all depends on. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into it. Nutrition.
Yeah.
The way you train, all that type of stuff. Like though that one time we worked out, you know, a lot of people do this. They like to stretch before working out.
Yes.
But you know, that could technically cause more damage to you before you work out. It can make you weaker when you're doing big lifts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what I like to recommend is like doing a more just active warm up, like jogging or a couple push-ups here and there, just to get a sweat going. Actual warm up, you know, that'll warm up your muscles enough to do the workouts and stuff like that. That's probably my biggest tip that I like to give people.
So what got you? What got you to get into
personal training?
Yeah.
So obviously I played sports my whole life, so I've always been into that. I've had great coaches and trainers growing up doing that. But what got me into it was I was a big boy always growing up. I weighed more like in 4th grade than I do now. I was like 240 in 4th grade.
Wow.
Yeah. And at my heaviest weight, I was like 315, I think. And but yeah, obviously I had to lose like 120 plus pounds is what I've lost. I think at one point I was like at 130 or 140.
Wow, congratulations,
yeah,
man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, but doing that, the journey through that, learning how to do that kind of got me into the personal training and everything. So, yeah. And I like it a lot, man, just helping people out in general. But, yeah.
Yeah, man.
What were you like nervous starting off, or did you just jump into it and like it was you?
Yeah, man, I was nervous as heck because, you know, I had never really done my own business. I had done music stuff at that point. I was a musician back in the day, and I'd try and go and do shows and stuff like that. But so I had my trials and errors with that. So I tried to convert that into personal training, and I did decent, but it wasn't the type of money that I was trying to make and stuff like that. So, you know, just trials and errors, learning how to market and all that type of stuff. But
yeah, another one is your marketing is A1.
I appreciate
marketing is really, really good, man. So what do you recommend for small business owners, entrepreneurs? Like, what are tips that you have on the marketing?
The biggest thing, I'm gonna tell you guys this because I like you guys, but the biggest thing that I tell everyone is no one's gonna remember you unless they see your face. I think the general rule of thumb is like 20 times. So, you know, when someone asks you, who do you recommend as a home inspector? You might think of someone else before you think of me, but eventually if you see my face enough times on social media, you know how I take all those photos and stuff like that, I might be that guy to come up first or second, just subconsciously in your mind.
Yeah, because you know.
Yeah, with marketing, you got to think about how people are thinking and stuff like that, not so much about yourself.
Psychology.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of that type of stuff. That's what I try to keep in mind with it, you know.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never actually thought of it that way. The number of times they see your face.
Yeah, I heard that tip I think in a business group or something like that I was in a while back. But yeah, and I took it to heart, and it's been working out so far. And then obviously the way you present yourself and all that type of stuff, the way you communicate and all that just goes a long way with business and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that,
So what are your current goals?
Man, I have some big goals. I just kind of wrote out a 3-year list. I want to be able to expand my home inspection business to have at least like 10 employees by the end of next year, hopefully. That's the goal, big goal, you know. One thing that I always tell people is make goals that scare you. So, like when I first started off, it was just going to be me, but I was like, man, why not? I need to ask my guy to help me out. I'm going to have to get twice as much work in order to pay him and stuff like that, but it was scary. It started off because I spent all my money on all my equipment and everything like that, and no, but it's worked out. You got to make those scary goals to make it happen, you know. Yeah. But that's the goal with that. I'm in the process of marketing an underground cleaning, duct cleaning business. So those ducts that get dirty underground and stuff like that, they need to be cleaned and all that. So I have the know-how and the materials needed to do that. So I'm going to start marketing that here by the end of the year. And next year, I'm going to also start a food truck. Yeah, I got a couple ideas in mind. I'm not going to tell anybody yet, but I know.
I'll keep it to yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
I know what I have a good idea with what I'm going to do with that too. So
That's interesting, man. That's
and
interesting.
real estate and all that type of stuff too. I got a couple properties in mind. One that I'm gonna start working on here in like 2-3 weeks, hopefully. We'll start making it happen. So, yeah.
Yes, sir, man. Yes, sir. So I know you touched big time on employees, and I'm actually thinking about getting my first employee.
Okay.
Right. So, what was kind of the mindset that you had when you got that employee? Like, what made you make that decision?
You can only one thing you got to keep in mind. You can only put so much of yourself, like actually working on the business and then working in the business.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard of that before. But the more hands you have to help, it can help you expand more. It can help you market more, network more with people.
Yeah.
Like I have my 2 other guys right now helping me out right now. They're getting started on a job. You know, I'm able to be here with you guys and do this type of stuff. So making money on the side while networking and growing in the future, that type of stuff. That's what you got to keep in mind. You're gonna take a little hit at first. You should be able to write it off if you do your taxes and all that type of stuff, right?
Yeah.
But also, it's gonna be short-term loss for long-term growth, that type of thing. You got to set up systems to make sure you're doing things right all the time, you know, because otherwise you can get overwhelmed if you're not like high functional, that type of stuff. Yeah, you know, have automatic emails set up to ask for reviews all the time. That's a big thing. Like I've been in business for a year and a month now with the home inspections, and I have over 350 reviews online already. So that makes a big difference with you know, showing your business and stuff like that. Yeah, send follow-up emails, man. It makes a huge difference. Emails and texts, just ask for a review with the link on there. That's all you gotta do.
So how large of a part does social media have for you and your business?
Huge, man. I honestly didn't start growing too much until I started doing a lot of social media stuff, and it's crazy because I was really introverted before, and I still kind of am, but you know, you got to get out of the bubble. And you got to force yourself out, or else you're not going to get out of it. So, just started doing that, and the social media stuff has helped a lot for sure. Like it's grown my business a lot, 100%.
Yeah, the time we live in, it's just crazy. Everything's on the internet, and basically you won't survive unless you're on the internet. Is what it's heading towards.
Yeah, and you can't keep doing the same thing, or else it'll, like the algorithm that Facebook has, they'll like die it down. You gotta have something different that people will actually stay on and read through and that type of stuff. You know,
yeah, something more interactive.
Do you only use Facebook, or are you?
Right now, yeah, honestly, all I've been using is Facebook. I need to get everything else connected and all that type of stuff. Yeah. But that's what's been working for me right now. But I definitely need to work on some more stuff.
Interesting.
I have a guy that he's good with marketing and stuff like that. So he's gonna help me out a lot. I have a meeting with him next week actually.
Yeah. Social media, man, it could add up and it becomes its own job in one.
Yeah.
Trying to manage all those.
Yeah, you got to stay on top of that for sure. Yeah. you can get behind real quick.
Yeah. It'll be like 2 days past already, 3 days. You know.
Yeah.
No, yeah, for sure. So, still touching on the employees. So, how do you hire?
Right now, honestly, I don't have like a big hiring process or anything like that. I try and see how people are, you know, like their personalities, get to know them, and then see, does this guy fit with the family that we're trying to build? Because the one big thing that I'm trying to do is you got to keep, if you want to have employees that stick with you and that have the same mindset as you, and you know, you can't expect your employee to work as hard as you do. That's one thing you got to keep in mind. You can't expect to get all 100% that you put in.
Yeah, that's true.
They're probably going to put in the half as much that you put in, just because, you know, it's just how it is. They don't have that drive that you guys do, that type of thing, you know.
So how do you do your training?
Hands-on training is usually the best way. I like to get my guys to follow me around, and I'll just kind of walk them through what I look for, that type of stuff. And you know, with time, they're studying a certain section, I'll show them what to look for while they're studying that section. Like, let's say they're studying the roof section in their classes that I'm helping them out with. I'll have them hop up on the roof with me and be like, look, you learned this today when you study this. I keep up with where they're at on studying.
Yeah.
So like you studied this today. This is what I do to look out for it. You know, that type of stuff. So it's really simple, man. Honestly, training people, you just gotta show them physically how to do it, and then give them the opportunity to do it themselves. Give them the opportunity to fail and learn that type of stuff.
Talking to you, I like your mindset, man. I'm more interested on what really developed that. So, do you have any heroes or idols or people you look up to?
Not honestly. Now that you ask, not really. Not like one clear hero or idol or anything like that. You know, obviously my parents. You know, I learned a lot from them growing up. That type of stuff. But no, I try and not limit myself by comparing myself to other people. That type of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so it's like I got, maybe it's a big-headed thing or something like that, but I know I can do a lot more than most people. That type of
I understand that.
The stars but no, you gotta, you know, like people like Kevin Hart and The Rock, that type of stuff. Those guys, they get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. every day. They talk about it all the time, you know, on their podcasts and all that type of stuff. They're just disciplined, all that. You know, you gotta make sure you're in track with your goals in life. Every time, like a lot of moments throughout the day, not just once throughout the day. Kind of what we're talking about. You can't just wake up at 5 a.m. and be like, okay, I worked out and I'm good there. You gotta check yourself after you're done working out. Be like, all right, what's next? Does this align with my goals? If it doesn't, maybe I should put this aside and work on something else. That type of stuff. You gotta always be on top of it. It's a big mental thing.
Yeah.
That's the kind of where I get my mindset from.
Yeah, no, that it's like that's contagious, because lately, like, I'll just be doing something and I'll be like, man, I could really be doing something more productive than this.
Yeah, so like you get bored and you're like almost anxious, like, dang, I should be doing something to grow right now, you know?
Yeah, I have the same feeling, like when I'm not, like I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna get an off day today. I get an off day and I'm off for like a couple hours, like 3 hours, 4 hours, I'm like, all right. I'm like, all right, you know.
Yeah, answer, you gotta go.
So I want to get a little deeper then. So you touched on podcasts. So do you have any books or podcasts that kind of stick out to you?
Yeah, I like reading a lot. So growing up as a kid, man, I just read all the books. I remember one time one of the Harry Potter books came out and I read it all that same day. That's how much I like reading. But I think a big book that I like to read, what was the name of it? Well, podcast wise, I listen to Joe Rogan a lot. He gets a lot of like smart guys on there.
Yeah,
he's amazing.
Stuff. So I love listening to Joe Rogan. Let me pull out my little Audible app so I can tell you a couple of my books.
Perfect.
But yeah, man, you got to read books or listen to them at least, because they go a long way for sure. I'm all about like mental stuff, so I don't know if you guys are or not, but I like one called Mind Hacking.
I heard about that one before.
Yeah, it's like a guy that goes off of like, he bases how your mind works off of kind of how like computer algorithm.
Oh, like the programming.
Yeah, all that type of stuff. He kind of applies it that way so you can understand it a little bit easier. But that's a really good one. There's another one called, I'm sure you guys have heard of Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
There's one called Unfuck Yourself.
I've heard of that.
Yeah. No, by Gary John Bishop.
Oh.
So that's a really good one. And another one is kind of more of a like psychology thing, but it's called Siddhartha's Brain. So you know, the Buddha guy. It's about how they just kind of walk him through his life and how his brain works and how he visualizes things, all that type of stuff. It's really cool. So anything growth, man. Honestly.
I understand. So I wanted to touch on, so you're killing it, man. You touched 3 different spots that I wanted to talk about. So I wanted to go into skills, but then you started talking about music. So being a musician is a skill. Let's talk a little bit about that. So is guitar the only thing you play, or?
No, I can do a little bit of everything. I'm probably not the best at the drums because I really haven't had much
You ever practice on
that?
that?
Yeah. But, no, I can play guitar, piano, and all the general stuff. You know? No, but guitar, I love it. I learned like Mexican music growing up because that's what my dad made. But nowadays, I just bought a new guitar. Actually, it's my first one that I bought since I think it's my first one I've ever bought for myself. Now that I think about it. But it's a classical guitar. I really like playing classical music with guitar. So that's my big thing that I like to do. It takes a lot of like concentration and stuff like that. So it's really good mind exercise for sure.
I might have heard wrong, but earlier did you say you've done shows?
Yeah. Back in the day, I was a rapper, believe it or not.
Who would have known?
As soon as I graduated from high school, kind of went and did that music thing. But I like to produce music, beats, record, mix and master, all that type of stuff.
Would you go back?
Maybe later on. I don't know. I love it. I really do. I like writing music and my type of music that I write about is all same thing that I'm talking to you guys about, just growth, spiritual stuff,
positivity.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not enough music out there. Like I don't like listening to music just because like it'll sound cool, but the stuff they're talking about in it's not cool.
Yeah. No,
so
it's bad.
I could see a high demand for music that sounds good, that's talking good too.
Yeah, it's motivational.
Yeah, for sure. There is a demand for it, for sure. There's a couple guys that I like to listen to. I'm not sure if you guys listen to it, but like Larry June. You know Larry June? It's hip hop. But he talks all about like business and stuff like that too. That's why I like it. Currency's another guy. He talks a lot about business and stuff like that. But that's on the hip hop side. But yeah, that's what I like to do when I write my music, because that's kind of what my life is for the most part. Just trying to focus on spirituality and growth for the most part.
I wanted to talk about that too. I wanted to ask, how would you define spirituality? To start off, if you were to put that into words?
That's a tough question. Yeah. Growing up Catholic, going to the private schools and stuff like that, they kind of teach you that what's taught, everything that's been taught for hundreds of years or whatever. But I don't know, spirituality for me, God, I don't see him as like just one physical figure, that type of thing. I think that we're all a part of one, like
we're all one.
We're all kind of a part of God, that type of thing. So spirituality, I don't know. I think all the religions have a little bit of the same thing going on. It's just the way you see it, to be honest.
That's interesting.
Yeah, your perspective and the way you interpret them.
Yeah, for sure. Good, but yeah, you if you go out and bust your ass until you can't go no more, and then you got to keep going after that. You got no money, all that type of stuff. Eventually, it's gonna turn around, and all that hard work's gonna pay off. It might take longer than you're expecting. Most of the time, it will take longer than you're expecting. But once that thing finally flips, it's gonna work out for you.
For sure.
That's how I try and look at things, for sure. Yeah, and that's another big thing with why I like those mental books. It kind of keeps me in check with how I view things, that type of stuff. Because you can get lost in your emotions real quick.
Yeah.
You get angry, and then all of a sudden, like just someone cuts you off, you get a little bit angry, and all of a sudden that one thing can just derail your whole day. It's that energy,
or even your whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that one, someone cutting you off could mess you up for months to years. It's crazy how it works. But everyone's mental is so sensitive. That's why I was talking about earlier. You always got to check yourself multiple times through the day. Is this what I'm doing right now? Does that align with what my goal is in general? So, but yeah, energy, all that type of stuff. It all ties in together,
Yeah.
So have you heard about the law of attraction?
Yeah, for sure.
What do you think on that?
I like it, but you can't just think, you know what I mean? You can't just
of course.
want to go and make $1 million
and then get it,
and then expect to get it. Obviously that's what everyone says. But one thing, I think I saw it online one day. There's a guy, he said success is 98% dedication and 2% motivation. You know what I mean? So you got to have that motivation. You got to know what you're wanting to get, but everything else is dedication. You can't wait to be motivated, basically, is what he's saying, to go out and work. You got to have that idea, and you got to think about it consistently, immerse yourself in that idea every day, look up stuff online, listen to podcasts, read books about it, like real estate, do that every day.
Yeah.
How to talk to customers, do that every day, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
You know? And then eventually, everything it'll attract your way. You know, that will work. You know, you gotta have action behind it for sure.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, just thinking I want $1 million. Of course, that ain't gonna work.
You gotta think it for sure. You gotta have that mindset, but also you gotta think it and then keep supplying that thought.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta go and, like I was saying, read more books, listen to podcasts, talk to people that do that every day. And don't get distracted from it. That's the attraction part. You know what I mean? You gotta bring it to you, but you gotta go to it too at the same time.
I listened to Jim Rohn, and he really compares life to like a farmer. Like you got to plant that seed, then you got to water it and nurture it, and then soon that seed grows into a plant. And you could kind of think of that, you could compare that to like your goals. Like once you realize the goal you want, like that's the seed, and then watering is just learning about it, researching it, and just trying to get there. You got to align your mental with your physical world.
Yeah, and you got to do it every day. You got to nurture it every day, that plant, you know.
Yeah.
So same thing with you, that type of stuff. That's a good way to think about it for sure.
Yeah, back to the skills, bro. So music's definitely a skill, and then your mindset, like your discipline, that's also a skill. What other skills would you say you have? Or that you're working on developing?
Communication, I think I'm pretty decent with that, you know. You got to be aware of what's going on while you're talking to someone. You know, read their face, how they're reacting, and base what you're saying off of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So when I'm doing the home inspections and I'm talking to the client, I look at them, see if they're getting scared. You know, if it's a good house, there's no reason to be scared of it. There's small defects here and there, but sometimes I can scare the client. You know, you got to reassure them when you see them that see that they're starting to get a little antsy, that type of stuff. But yeah, communication is a big thing, especially if you're trying to be successful in business and any type of business, man. You gotta make sure you know how to respond, be articulate with what you're saying, you know, have the vocabulary to be able to say it and all that type of stuff. But that does go a long way. It shows if you're educated or not for the most part. And that makes a difference from charging $300 for a service and $800 for a service.
Yeah, that credibility.
The communication, credibility, and you know, obviously the quality of the work too. But communication is probably the biggest thing, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. So how did you get better at that? Like, how did you develop that skill?
Kind of like what I was saying earlier. I was an introvert. You just gotta
trial and error.
Trial and error. You just gotta go out and do it. And then I think all the books and stuff that we were talking about before helped a lot too, with being aware of where you're at in the moment. Instead of, you know, you gotta listen to the person speaking to you before you reply.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So instead of thinking of response while they're talking, that type of stuff, you gotta wait a little bit after they speak, then reply to them, that type of stuff. That makes world of difference in communication. And in your life generally, to be honest.
Yeah.
Was this one of the things where we would walk past your room and hear you in there like practicing, or was it all just mental, like just preparing mentally for it?
Action when you were at the field.
Preparing mentally, kind of, for the most part. You know, you do gotta practice, but I kind of just throw myself out there for the most part. You know, I do my research and immerse myself into it. That way I can kind of have an idea, but you're not gonna know until you go out there and do it for sure. You know? I put my back against the wall all the time, man, and most of the time I come out on top. You know?
Yeah, that's how you do it, man.
Yeah, for sure.
What advice would you give to a small business that can't get going? Because you basically started from scratch, you're able to build, and like you said, you use, I'll let you talk.
You just gotta go out there and work, man. Yeah, you gotta go out there and talk to people. You can't just expect someone to call your phone because you posted an ad online or paid Google to help you out, put you on the first page, that type of stuff. You gotta go actually out there and talk to people and make phone calls. Don't be scared to set up meetings, like coffee meetings, lunch meetings, that type of stuff. It really does make a big difference for sure.
Create that value.
Yeah.
So I kind of look at life like everybody has a purpose, right? Like my man got a purpose, I got a purpose. What kind of purpose do you have? Like, do you see a problem in the world that you're trying to fix or solve? Like, do you have anything like that? Like something you see wrong in the planet that when you're not around no more, you wouldn't mind being remembered for fixing that.
Man, like I told you guys before, I have like, I don't know, I'm probably crazy, but I just got some big goals and stuff like that. But after I get my businesses and stuff settled and I can get them to run on their own, that type of stuff, I want to go back and study to be a theoretical physicist. So I want to go and like, I kind of want to figure out the key to life, that type of thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You know, they come up with equations and stuff like that, you know, to figure out the law of gravity, the law of stuff like that. You know, that stuff I love it, and I feel like that could make a huge difference in the future of the world and stuff like that. So that's why I want to do something like that.
That's cool. So you could see yourself becoming like a professor or something like that?
No, not even teaching. I want to go out there and into the field and actually like trial and error, figure new stuff out. You know, I want to like discover something that'll change the world.
Huh, that's interesting. You don't just talk to somebody every day and that's something they say they want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. I know it's weird, but it's always been in the back of my head, and it's something I really want to do for sure.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I haven't heard that response ever. And I asked that. Yeah, we haven't. I mean,
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
What?
I don't tell many people about it, but no, it's for something for sure that I need to start putting out there.
Yeah.
So,
What got you on that road? What was the information you heard that just amazed you, that lead you towards that?
Reading those books, being more mentally aware, and then seeing what those guys do. It's super impressive. Like I can't even grasp what they're doing right now. It's amazing. Like the stuff they're figuring out. Like that God, the thing you asked me about spirituality, like who's God to me, that type of thing. Like they're not figuring out who God is, but it's like going to that way to where like everything's like I don't know if you guys have heard of string theory, but everything's like a kind of vibrations. Like everything's kind of connected together, that type of stuff.
So who was your biggest mentor, man? Like who was? Do you have a mentor that really influenced you the most? Not really influenced you totally. Different set of mentors that influenced you different ways and different paths. Like, do you have? Who comes to mind when I say mentor?
My dad, for sure. Yeah, growing up, I worked with him when he first started his store. You know, I was like, I forgot, I was like 8 years old or something like that, and I would get up at 5:30 a.m. with him every day to go get set up and stuff like that, and just see the way, you know, he would always tell me what he was doing, that type of stuff, and why he was doing it, and so, I learned a lot from him for sure. Yeah, he's probably my biggest mentor in my life.
How does he feel about what you're doing now?
Good, you know.
Proud.
He's like a lot of people were skeptical in my family about starting a business. It was like, are you sure you're gonna have enough business and all this? It's a hard thing to be in. Like, yeah, you know. But now they're definitely happy for sure. He's seen that I'm putting the work in and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that's what he's happy about.
It sucks that we gotta experience that. Like, try to strive higher than the crowd, and sometimes people it's hard to believe you.
Yeah, and it don't matter what anybody else thinks, man. They're limiting themselves to a certain point, and you can't bring yourself down to their level. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah, they're right. I mean, if they were doing it, you know, because whatever you believe, if you're right, you're right, you know.
Yeah, your beliefs reflect you.
Yeah, so I mean, if they believe they can, they're right.
Yeah.
You know, you believe he could, he's right. You know, so
for sure.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing, and that's what a lot of people have to overcome. That's the sad part is that the you know, the family mindset. You know, that 9 to 5 comfortable
Security.
Yeah, security. There you go. That's the word.
Yeah. That's. I mean, if that's what you want, it's okay. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, but for me, no, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm not here to just be an average person. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? We're all special because we're here. We're alive today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that's huge. Like, it's less likely to do that than winning the lottery. You know what I mean? That type of stuff. So
Yeah.
you got to take advantage of while you're here, man.
This is our life.
Yeah. Everyone has different goals and stuff like that, but I know for me, I couldn't be happy.
Yeah.
For sure. I can't do it.
Yeah, I try to convince some people, and then I was like, you know what? That's okay that they have that mindset. Because I try to convince them, like you can do more, like you can, greatness. I'm very. I mean, this is the podcast, greatness. Yeah. And I think that if they're happy with that life, there's totally nothing wrong about that.
No.
There's nothing that it's good for them, So as long as they're happy, I'm happy for them.
Yeah, that's like I tell everyone that asks me if they should start a business. Like, you go figure it out on your own. You'll know if you're an entrepreneur or someone that's there that's more of an asset for somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with either side of it.
Yeah.
You just got to know what's good for you, as long as you're happy at the end of the day. That's what really matters. Because some people do have families and stuff right now. They would rather go home and only worry about family instead of going home, hanging out with family for a few minutes, and then diving back into how can I continue this business and improve that type of stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah.
It's whatever responsibilities you give yourself.
Yeah.
With so do you have any experiences you still like? What experiences do you want to experience?
Oh man, I got a lot I want to do.
Good question.
I want to travel the world. I still haven't been on a plane yet. That's a good thing. I could do that really easily, But I get on a plane. I've only ever been to Mexico and the U.S., so go out of the country, that type of stuff. For sure.
So a lot of traveling experience, just life.
Yeah. 100%.
Do you have any? So how many languages you know?
I just speak Spanish and English.
Yeah.
Right now, I do want to learn more English languages later on, but one thing at a time, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I only know English.
Oh, okay.
I'm Puerto Rican and I don't know Spanish.
No, that's all right.
So,
A lot of people don't know Spanish, especially growing up. If you grew up here in the U.S., it's hard to retain that.
Do you have any language that sticks out that you would be interested in learning?
Mandarin.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, because that's one of the other bigger languages, I think, right? Spanish.
That's the biggest.
English and Mandarin.
No, I think that's like the second or third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just so you can communicate with more people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that one would be the first one I would try to learn probably.
Is there a lot of people here that speak that, or?
I don't think so. Not right now. I know there might be a market for it in the real estate and like home inspection side. So that's kind of what I'm trying to figure out.
Especially when you explore to different states. California is
exactly.
That's a big. They have a big population.
Yeah.
I think the coastal areas. Yeah, that's a good language. Right now, here is Vietnamese.
Yeah, Vietnamese. Yeah, that's a big one here for sure.
Yeah, with our demographic in Oklahoma, because we have the China, well, not the Asian district.
Yeah.
So we have all that demographic right there that speaks that language. That if you can communicate with them and help them.
Opens you up to a whole new market.
Yeah, man. And communications, like I was telling you before, it's key because I'm able to speak to these Spanish-speaking clients. That makes, like I said, it makes the difference between charging $300 and $800 in your service, but they're still 100% happy with working with you because they're comfortable talking to you. You can see it when they're speaking to. I don't mean to talk bad on their agents or anything like that, but like if their agent only speaks English, they're kind of uptight. But as soon as you start speaking in their language, they relax, their shoulders get looser, they're happier. So communication is huge. Speaking different languages,
100%.
Builds that relationship.
Yeah, builds a rapport for sure.
Yeah,
when you first talk to them.
Yeah, because if you think about it, I mean, especially with contracts, like if they sign a contract and they have to, because I was thinking about if I only speak English, they're kind of just taking my word for it, Like if this contract is only in English, it's like they only think about it, like they have to take my word for it. Like it's not like it's the same thing with communication. They're just taking my word for everything if I don't speak, the language. If you know, if they can understand it, like if it's in Spanish or stuff like that.
And it's scary because they don't know what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
And that's one reason that I started a business, man, because there's so much knowledge that people just don't know. That's simple, you know, especially in the real estate and money in general.
Yeah.
Anything like loans or anything like that, especially in the Hispanic community, they don't know. They don't know what's going on. So, really fulfilling to be able to help them out 100%.
A lot of it's just with the Hispanic population is mostly education.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that you have to provide.
Yeah.
This man's been reading a lot. He got all the books, all the knowledge. You've looked at a lot of words. Do you have a favorite word?
Shoot.
Good question.
That's a good one. Right now, just the first one that popped in my head is will.
Will.
Yeah. Because I always ask myself, especially when I'm struggling in like the hardest times, I say, are you willing? I ask myself that. Are you willing to do this? Are you willing to keep going? You know, you're always going to tell yourself,
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you tell yourself no, but
you're right. Yeah.
You got to tell yourself yes.
Yeah. Whatever you say, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was great, man. Thank you for being on today.
Yeah, sure. Thank you guys for having me. I love it.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah. Thank you so much, and we're gonna go ahead and close this out. You know, we're gonna go ahead and on the description put all his contact information on there.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Great.
Thanks, guys.